Michael Gunnels. Now is this the easy group? I don't think anyone said it was, Michael. Every week we got like 6 Smurfs in here that, they're secret cat bees. I don't know how they do it.
And we are back for another episode of Dead Last Cycling. And this week we're racing Tour de Zwift Stage 1 on turf and surf. Being the genius that I am, I managed to forget to clip my microphone on this week, so the live audio isn't great. Nor is my commentary, as unfortunately I've got a bit of a cold. On that topic, thankfully my mic did pick me up getting my excuses in nice and early.
I'm going to get the excuses out early this week. Sick. Got a cold from my wife tried for 2 weeks and she successfully gave it to me 3 days ago. 4 hours sleep. Broken back. Spinal. So that's the excuses for this week. So I put them on record early. We'll probably get them on record again later.
With that out of the way, and given that turf and surf is pretty pedestrian for the first half, I think it's probably time for us to...
Nice fast forward button here. Just...
Now we've successfully navigated the boring first half, it's time for what we've all been waiting for. The pain. And this climb was far harder than I expected. The field stretched out immediately, and despite starting in a reasonable position, I found myself further back than I wanted to be, burning matches far earlier than planned, especially near the top where it took a serious dig just to make the front group. I did manage to get across and hold on down the descent, but if I'm honest, it cost me a lot. Still, I'd made it through the first selection. Given I was feeling rough, I was pretty happy with that, and perhaps everyone in this front group had gone deep as well. As we hit the second climb, my earbuds decided it was appropriate to disconnect for the second week in a row. Clearly, I need a new pair, so if you have any recommendations for good noise-cancelling headphones or earbuds for Zwift, let me know in the comments. What also became very clear very quickly was that people hadn't gone nearly as deep as I had, because 2 riders immediately escaped up the road. But we keep fighting, and as this climb has featured in a couple of races we've done recently, I had a plan going in. We were going to attack on the second steep section, do or die style. As we hit that second steep section, and I applied some pressure to the pedals though, my legs quickly started to turn to lead, and I could tell this attack was going nowhere. The smarter choice at this point would have been backing off and riding the climb at my own tempo. But sometimes you have to try, just to see what's possible. With today, effectively nothing being possible, but we live and we learn. As I got caught by more riders, I did manage to make a final effort to stay with them as we crested the pain cavern, but having burned far too many matches earlier, the matchbox was now completely empty and then some. So today, we roll across the line in 8th out of 111, which, all things considered, I'll take. But I do think we need to talk about a real problem in Zwift racing, and that's smurfing. Nearly every week in these lower category races, there are 1 or 2 riders who are very clearly far stronger than the rest of the field. If we look at today's result, the winner is pushing around 3.5 watts per kilo for 20 minutes, with 5-minute numbers that would have been 4th best in the B category field. And bear in mind, this is a Cat D race. Now, I don't mind losing to stronger riders, that's racing. What I struggle to understand in video games is people that smurf and closet cheat. I just don't see what they get out of it, because they obviously know that it's a hollow victory and not an achievement. And when that happens regularly, it does chip away at motivation, especially for riders who are genuinely trying to progress, and I have to imagine that some people will have been turned off from Zwift racing by it. The riders aren't the only people to blame, of course. Zwift's racing score and decay systems clearly need work, because right now, people returning from inactivity have their racing score decay such that they can enter categories much lower than their previous strength. If a returning rider had to race at least once in their previous category before being rescored, then any fitness loss would just impact 1 result for them, and not 100 people's race. Either way, we'll be back next week for Stage 2 of Tour de Zwift, which takes place on an old favourite of ours, Hell of the North, once again up Petit Com. See you then.